Hello. What happened to the real estate industry in northeastern Ohio in 2025? And what do I think is going to happen in 2026? So we're going to dive into that here. So with our 2025 market in review. So first off, interest rates. Interest rates came down last year, almost a full percent. So at the beginning of the year, they were hovering just under 7%. And then by the end of this year, they were just above 6%. And then a lot of our local banks, just recently in the last 2 weeks, have dipped under 6%. So you can get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with 20% down for 5.99 or 5.89%. So that's great news. That's starting to bring some more buyers out. That's hopefully going to get some of these sellers that are sitting on 3 and 4% interest rates to maybe think about selling their house, because I know a lot of folks have been sitting on the sidelines because they've got a great low interest rate. Number of new listings currently for sale. So new listings was up slightly last year, about 3.3%, 24 versus 25. Number of homes for sale though, so this is the number of homes available when you go on the internet to go look to see what's available. That's up 7%. So again, because new listings have come up, and you will see here in a second that number of transfers, so number of homes that actually sold was about flat last year. So as we're having more inventory come on the market, more homes are sitting. You'll see in a second that it's still a strong seller's market. But we were very busy in December. Let me get rid of my head there. Oops. Let's go back to that stat. So anyway, December 25 was a lot busier than December of 24. So if you can go down here and see this, it's the one in the middle. Number of homes under contract was up 11% this December versus last December. So we were a little bit busier for sure this December than last. You'll see if you're paying attention where it says 17% down, that was December versus November. So obviously November's a little busier month than December, but when you compare our 24 December versus 25 December, we were busier this year. And then same thing with when you look at stats month to date. So the first, call it, 13, 14 days of this year, our under contracts is up about 11%. So we're still staying pretty busy this year. So that's great news. Average sold price. So when you look at Cuyahoga, Lorain, and Medina counties and add those all together, the average sale price is up about a little over 6%. So that's still good news, especially because other parts of the country is down or level. So we've been really lucky here in northeastern Ohio that our appreciation rate has been still headed up. This is crazy to look at. This is the last 15 years worth of appreciation. So in those counties, the average sale price back in 2001 was $133,000. Now the average sale price is $303,000. So that's quite a lot of appreciation in 15 years. So, and if you can see that curve, it's still headed up. Days on market. So how long is it taking to get a house under contract? It's up tiny, but it says 5%, but it's really only 2 extra days last year to get a house under contract. But you will notice it's still taking over a month. It's like 41 days. And that's from the day the house is listed to the day it goes under contract. So, it's still taking a little over a month. This is a neat graph that shows for the last, basically same 15 years, what's going on. The blue bar is days on market. Heck, back in 2011, now mind you, this is 2011, still kind of in not the bottom. We're just starting to come out of the whole housing crisis in 2011. But on average, it was taking 135 to 140 days to get a house under contract. The thing I wanted to point out, though, is when you look at 2020, and that was kind of like in 2022, where we kind of bottomed out. You know, on average, it was taking 30 to 35 days to sell a house then, and now we're starting to trend to go back up. So it's again 41 to 42 days to get a house under contract. And then another thing to pay attention to, it's really hard to see on this graph, but it was in 21 and 22, homes were selling for about 101% list price to sales price ratio. And then now they're at 99%, which again is still fantastic. If you go all the way back here, I mean, heck, it was at 87% list price to sales price ratio. So homes were selling for a lot less than the list price. Nowadays, it's still high, but it is slowly starting to trend down. Months worth of inventory. This is where we look at, okay, if we have 12 houses for sale right now in a certain market, how long is it going to take for those 12 homes to sell? Right now, it's taking about 1.7 months worth of inventory, which is actually up. It's up from 1.5 in 2024. So that's a significant change of 12 or 13%. This is the fun graph though. This shows you if that number is under 3, it's considered a seller's market. If it's between 3 and 6 months worth of inventory, it's a neutral market. If it's above 6 months worth of inventory, it's called a buyer's market. So you can see we crossed over into this neutral market in about 13, and then we crossed over into a seller's market actually about 17 or 18. And then when COVID hit, we went to an extremely, extremely strong seller's market. A seller's market like we've never seen before. Now, if you pay attention to these waves, and the reason it goes up and down, that's summer, winter, summer, winter. So it kind of has this natural seasonality to it. But if you look, our average is starting to go back up towards neutral market. We're not there yet. We don't expect to be there this year. And though the trend is we are starting to slowly year over year head back to that neutral market. Fun part, what are my predictions for this year? So 2026 still will be a strong seller's market, just not the free-for-all it's been for the last, say, since 2020 to 2022-ish. Inventory is starting to creep up, but still below normal. Interest rates should bring more buyers out this spring. Everything I've been reading about talks about once we got under that 6% for a 30-year fixed mortgage rate, psychologically that will help get more buyers into the mix. Locally here, though, we do not have enough new construction, especially in, say, the $200,000 to $500,000 price range. So homes in that price point are still going to be in demand, highly in demand, because we just don't have that many of them, and we're not seeing a lot of a turnover in that price point. Buyers are back to asking questions, and what I mean by that is they're doing inspections. They're starting to, back in 2022, 21, 23, a lot of buyers are buying houses and waiving the option to do inspections. Well, guess what? They're doing inspections nowadays. The appraisals, we're starting to see more and more appraisals not hitting our sale price. And what that means is we accept an offer for $400,000 on a house. The house now appraises for $390,000. And now we've got a challenge to figure out. Rest assured, when you choose to list with an Ed Huck team agent, we'll figure it out. Spring market still matters, so we're starting to grow into that spring market right now. We will start to see things pick up and more inventory start to hit the market. But preparation still also really matters, meaning what we're seeing is the houses that are really prepped right, all ready to go, lots of updates, those are still selling quickly. Experience counts. So again, if you're looking to buy or sell right now, make sure you're working with an agent that really knows what the heck they're doing and have been through this market before. And I briefly touched on this a minute ago, but other parts of the country are in a strong buyer's market. Lots of Florida, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, parts of California are strong buyer's market. The market's shifted really quickly into a buyer's market from a seller's market. I don't see us shifting quickly. I do continue to see us slowly marching towards that neutral market year after year. Projections for buyers. Buyers have more negotiating power than last year, meaning you might not have to come in 20 grand over asking price because you're competing with 15 other offers. Inventory is slowly again increasing, so there will be hopefully some more options for you. You won't be feeling like you've just got to buy a house just to buy a house. You'll be able to maybe sit back for a couple extra weeks or months to find the house that really is going to work for you. Sellers are a little bit more open to making credits for repairs than they were in the past. Again, inspections, don't be afraid to write a purchase agreement with an inspection. Again, keep that in mind though, the well-priced homes are still selling quickly. We are not seeing 22 offers on a house like we used to. Not as often, let's put it that way. And then because there's not enough new construction, again, in those $200,000 to $500,000 price point, those sellers can get a little bit more aggressive because there's just not a lot of inventory. And then prepared buyers will win more often than not. And what I mean by that is if you've got your pre-approval all put together, you've got your down payment all put together, we can help you write a really strong purchase agreement to get you in that right house. So if you have any questions, let me know. These stats are very broad. Each market is different, meaning city and even sometimes each subdivision inside a city could make a huge difference. So please reach out to us. We're here for you. We'd love to help you out. And 2026 is going to be an amazing year. Enjoy.